figured it out. Put your hand up if you're live. Put your hand up if you're live. Look, we got room. Look, live. Let's go live. We're going live. I want to say, everybody out there on the internet, you're going to be blown away by what we have, what we're doing together as an organization. All right, everybody, anybody else needs help real quick? Look, we're learning. We are learning how to go out and peak everybody we know. Because our goal is to share this opportunity with everybody. We have the greatest opportunity on the planet, and people need us today more than ever. Can we agree? Now, guys, here's what I'm going to do is listen. We're all live. Everybody good?
Good.
Fantastic. We're going to get today kicked off, and I'm so excited to bring up this next individual. I've had the pleasure of knowing him all my life. And you know, God gave me an amazing partner, and I've watched him come into this business and grow as a human being, influence people, bring a work ethic, a fierce work ethic to the table. You know, he's always Friday night. How many of you have Friday night leadership? He always there every Friday night plugging into us. So to kick off the Rockstar ETL Summit, let's bring to the front of the room Senior Vice President, Mr. Patrick Baser.
Awesome. Wow, man, great to be here with everybody, and great to see everybody with their phones on. Good to see you guys. Well, first of ways to get things started, number one, I want to welcome you to Dallas, Texas. I believe we kept the heat on for everybody. How many of us are enjoying the heat here in Texas? Having said that, I believe the real heat's going to be in this room as we disrupt healthcare. How many of us are excited about bringing a choice to the marketplace that most people know nothing about? And the individual that brought me up here today is somebody that I've had the pleasure of knowing my entire life. He has been an incredible leader, always there for everyone, put this event together alongside with all the other leaders. Can we show him our appreciation? Senior Vice President, everybody, Mr. Michael Mazer. And what we're going to do today, I believe, is needed more now than ever before, and that is the opportunity for the American public to make money. How many of us would agree we're rolling into an economic downturn? People are looking for ways to save money, looking ways to make money. We've been here for over 22 years, and we took a look at this opportunity 22 plus years ago. And, you know, just like any business, you get started, you're out there, you know, going through the learning curve and figuring out what to go do. And 2008 hit. And how many of you remember 2008? Right? How many of you remember it came out of nowhere? Things were great, right? Everybody was doing well. I mean, there wasn't any challenges in our economy. And the next thing you know, within a 90-day period, things just started to spiral. And let me tell you what happened to our business. We had already been in ACN at that point, you know, for about 5+ years, and our business exploded. I mean, we went from putting in literally a handful of reps to putting in over 1,000 IBOs every 30 days. 1,000 IBOs were coming in every 30 days, and they were bringing customers with them. And people were coming in from all over the country, and we had to do it the old school way. Does everybody remember where you had to invite people to a presentation? They had to drive across town. You couldn't recruit out of your local community because you had no way to share the information with people. So I remember literally doing a meeting on a Monday in Sacramento, California, flying the all-night flight back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, getting in my car and driving to Boston, Massachusetts to do a presentation. Because I had to get in front of as many people as I could. And when I see what we have happening now, how many of us love the fact that we can build this online? Right? How many of us love the fact that you don't have to fly all night to share the information with people on the other side of the country? That when you leave here this weekend, you're going to be able to do everything you need to know how to do to take advantage of the opportunity that we're going to lay out. And when the economy hits and people are looking for opportunity, your business is going to take off because people are going to be open to saving money. I don't know anybody in a bad economy that's going to turn their nose up to put money back into their pocket. And unfortunately, when people lose their job, and how many of us see that trend starting to happen this year, when they lose their job, they lose their health care. And now we have a solution for people that will be in that situation. And how many of us can get behind something like that? Right? How many of us want to be a part of something like that? So here's what I'm going to tell you is, one, is when you walk out of here today, you're going to have all the confidence that you need to build this big business. You're going to have the insights, the knowledge. You're going to have the very best trainers, in my opinion, in this industry, pouring into every single one of you here today. Now look, we've all had to leave situations to be here. I know traveled to be here. We all were in, whether you flew in from another state or drove in. I just want to acknowledge you for being here. Most people will not do what you've done. Most people will complain about their situation and never do anything about their situation. See, you are not most people. Do you realize that most people would not have done what you've done? And I promise you, in the future, there won't be any of us here today that will be apologizing for our success. Because we were willing to do what other people are unwilling to do. See, it's easy to stay home and not come to an event like this. It's easy to get distracted with things in life that really don't matter when you look at the situation that the American public's about to face. And that's not just me saying that. How many of us agree that's everybody saying that? And so what we're going to give you here today is a lot of great information. We're going to be talking about, how to build that team, how to go out and create distribution, how to help that person sitting at home right now that maybe woke up today just a little bit upset about where they are. And they don't know where to go find a company like we have here today. See, we're not out selling things that people don't need or can't afford. How many of us would agree with that? We're not out here asking the American public to buy things overpriced or put more, take more money out of their budget. We're here to put money back into their budget. We're here to divert that money that's being spent anyway back into their pocket through the relationships that all of us have. Here's what I know about our industry. AI will never replace what we're doing here today. People to people. I believe in our lifetime, people will get to the point where they will believe nothing on the internet. They will believe nothing on the internet until somebody they know, that they trust, that they have a relationship with, tells them, hey, you might want to look at something. That's going to be the only way business will be done in the future. How many of us would agree with that thinking? Right? And if you think about where we're sitting at here today, with an opportunity to start by, number one, working on ourselves, but number two, giving that opportunity to other people. So my job is to kick things off here. I was so excited about being here. I'm sure all of you sort of can feel that excitement here this morning. Before I get things started, I'm going to switch my mic. Why don't you introduce yourself to the person beside you, the person behind you. Let's get a chance to know each other here today. Some of your best friends are going to come out of this room. How many of you met some great people? Yeah. And here's what I love. The people that are still going live are meeting people like, man, this is incredible. See, here's what I know. Sitting at home is not exciting. How many of us agree with that? Right? Not getting in a room with excited people that have a common future and a common purpose together. See, what we bring to the marketplace, in my opinion, is the most important thing, and that's called hope and opportunity. How many of us would agree with those two words? We're bringing hope and we're bringing opportunity. So it's hard not to get excited when you're in a room full of other motivated, self-motivated, entrepreneurial type individuals that are out there to do something great for themselves, their family, and everybody else that they can. And my job here today is to talk about what I believe is the most important part kicking off an event like this is the mindset necessary. See, when I got involved in ACN with my brother Mike, I was in the t-shirt business. See, I knew a long time ago that whatever I was going to do, I was going to do for myself. I was never going to get a job. I never wrote a resume. I never went on a job interview. I never got a paycheck from anyone except for myself. That was the only way I've ever got paid. And the reason I came to that mindset is our father worked for one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And after 33 years of my father being the yes guy, my father doing whatever they asked him to do, how many of you here can relate to that? Right? It didn't matter what, they stay late, go here, do this, we're bringing a new product out, come learn, teach other people what you know. And after 33 years, he got a phone call from his boss, and his boss said, hey, we've got a couple new guys, and man, it would mean the world to us if you were to train those new guys with all your experience of 33 years, man, it would really help the company out tremendously. And my father thought that was an honor. Does that make sense? My father thought, man, I get to mentor the next generation of this company. Man, what a beautiful position for me to be in. And he spent the next 30 days out there working with these individuals for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, my father got a phone call and said, we no longer need your services. He trained his replacements. Now, how many of you know somebody that had something similar happen just like my father? Now, my dad was deep into his 60s, and how many of us agree your career becomes your identity? Right? And to watch my father have to go into situations, they were like, hey, how's work? Hey, how's this? And for him to have to sort of explain away the situation. Does anyone here know what I'm talking about? And then to have to go back into the marketplace, close to 60 years old, and people tell you, hey, you're overqualified. We can't pay you that kind of money. That opportunity is not available for someone like yourself. All those years of experience no longer we're going to translate in making money anymore. And as a young person, here's what I made that decision at that moment. I would never let this happen to me. I'm never going to put my life in the hands of somebody else. Now look, nobody in our family owned a business. How many of us can relate to that? I didn't have any mentors. I had no uncles and people in our immediate family that were like, hey, let me show you how to own a business. And so I got out and started selling t-shirts all over the country, and that's what I had done prior to this opportunity. And a friend's mom told us about what you took a look at. And when I heard the concept of residual income, I thought to myself, I'm going to have to work anyway. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not getting out of work. How many of us came to that conclusion? We're going to have to go do something anyway. We're going to spend the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of our life doing something. So you're telling me if I go to work today, that there's an opportunity for me to get paid the rest of my life on what I'm doing right now. Sign me up. And I did what you're doing here today. Mike and I, we came to an event just like this. We got a chance to hear from some individuals that shared concepts and ideas that I never heard before. Leveraged income. I never heard of the concept of leveraged income. On how you can create not only, a financial opportunity, but time. Where you could have time and money together. I had never heard that before because I had met successful people, but they were giving 12 hours a day to get it. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Or I had met some people that had massive success, but they had to give up their family to get it. Right? They didn't even know their kids. Right? They were in a situation where they were traveling like crazy people all over the country. And yes, they were doing well financially, but they were giving their health, their family, their relationships, they were giving everything up to get to those positions. And then when I walked in and saw people in the ACN opportunity that were the senior positions in this company, they just had a lifestyle that I was looking for. And what they showed me was something I had never seen before, and that is somebody to show me how they did it. How many of us agree nobody's going to show you how they got wealthy? They call that competition, yes or no? They're not going to bring you in and show you all their trade secrets so you can go out and do what they're doing across the street. But ACN was totally different. And when I walked in, that my mentor told me from the very beginning, he said, Patrick, have long-term thinking. He said, the problem with our country is we reduced ourselves down to instant rice, instant oatmeal, instant success. How many of you know somebody that's literally driving to a fast food restaurant? They're not even out of their car. They order their food on right on a box. There's 3 cars in front of them, and they're sitting there thinking, "What's taking so long? What are they doing?" Right now, can you imagine if those same individuals had to go back to growing food? I mean, could you imagine them looking at when? Right?
Like when? See, anything that's worthwhile takes time to do, yes or no? Yes. See, all the things that we look at take time. Long-term thinking. Now, long-term thinking in our business is probably 36 months, 60 months. That's long-term thinking. A 60-month, can you commit to something for the next 36 months to the next 60 months where you put some time, effort, and energy into something and over time start to watch it grow? Now, here's the second thing. Success builds over time. What I didn't realize is when I started, I was bad. Anybody can relate to me. I was nervous picking up the phone. Can anyone relate? I remember the phone weighed 300 pounds. I remember literally sweating about calling somebody to invite them to a presentation. And I was so happy when I used to get voicemails. Anyone else like me? And I was like, oh, praise the Lord. Hey, big stuff happening. You should see what I'm doing. It's only $2.99, $25 a month. We're going to get rich in the phone industry. You call me back, right? Like literally giving a presentation on the voicemail, right? Just hoping that they would call me up and say, Patrick, that voicemail was so compelling. Where do I give the money? Right? I'm just hoping that somebody call me up 5, 3, 4. What's that? That's my MasterCard number, Patrick. I'm in it. See, what I didn't realize is that it was going to take time for me to get the skill sets necessary to make this business work. And that's what you're going to get here this today. You're going to get how to recruit, how to invite, how to build a team, how to do a presentation. How many of us want to learn about the compensation plan? When you get a chance to hear from Tony Kupas today, I promise you will never sleep right again. Like some of you will be in your hotel room tonight with a calculator. Like literally with a calculator going, are you kidding me right now? So here's the other thing is consistency. When I see people come in that are consistent, here's what I know. Success is inevitable to the consistent leader. Lauren McQueen, every single week, Tuesday, every single Tuesday. How many of you see Lauren McQueen? Consistent. Money May, how many of you know Money May? Consistent. Here's what I see. Consistency. Dr. Hill, consistency. How many of you notice some of these individuals, time after time, a consistent effort? It's not a sprint. It's a consistent effort over time. Look, we've all worked out before. Can we agree? You can't get it all done in one workout. Right? It's a little bit over time. Consistency is the secret to success. Most people do not have that long-term mentality. They don't look at how far they've come. They look at how far they're not. You know, Greg Provenzano, the president of our company, said something one day that really resonated. He said, did you ever notice in life, we celebrate the beginning of life? Somebody had a baby. How many of you drove past someone's house and they were like, baby Matthew's here? Right? And there's balloons and people there, and there's so much festivity about somebody being born. And then when's the next time we celebrate that person? In the end, man, he was a great person. We all loved him. What about the middle? Why don't we celebrate the middle? Why aren't we celebrating how far we've come, not how far we have to go? See, look, you made it here. You made it through the hard part. The hard part is getting here. The quit zone's behind you. How many of us agree? You quit from getting started to ETL. If someone's going to quit, that's where they're going to quit. And the reason why people quit, because people get to meet themselves. And when they meet themselves, they don't always like the person that they meet. How many of you would agree with that? All of a sudden, they have to do some things that are a little uncomfortable. And here's what I know. Nobody had massive success in the comfort zone. I've never met that person. How about you? I've never met that person that said, man, it was real easy for me, Patrick. I just made 10 calls, 10 people showed up, 10 people signed up, they all got customers, they called some people, and now I'm an SVP. I haven't met that individual. See, here's what I'll share with you. It's the long consistency over time. Now, here's what else I want you to think. Rejection recovery. Some people never get over the no. I've had people sign up, their best friend told them it was the stupidest idea they ever heard, and they completely quit after that. One gut punch. One person that they called that said, hey, I would never do anything like that, and the next thing you know, they're out. See, you're always going to have that rejection. How many of us agree? Rejection hurts. It doesn't matter who you are, yes or no, because you see something in them that they don't always see in themselves. How many of us here feel the same way? How many of you met people you're like, man, if you just did what we're doing, you could go to the top. With your personality, that everybody likes you, you have a smile on your face, you could do so great at this. And the next thing you know, they hear a no and you don't hear from them again. Because they couldn't get over that no. Now look, I can remember like yesterday when somebody said no to me, man, it took me 2 or 3 days to recover. Anyone know what I'm talking? I would talk about it for 2, Bob would have been great at this. Like, I can't believe Bob doesn't want to do this. Like, I wonder why he knows all the right people, right? He goes to one of the biggest churches in his community, right? He's super connected. His wife is always volunteering. They could use the money, right? I don't understand why they don't. How many of you know you talk about it for 2 or 3 days? And then over time, you start to condense that time frame. What used to be 2 or 3 days, then you talk about it for 2 or 3 hours. And pretty soon, it's going to be 2 or 3 minutes. Today, when somebody I know that says, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do it, or hey, I'm going in another direction, I'm like, man, I'm sorry to hear that. For about 30 seconds. And then I'm back to somebody else. Does that make sense? Because I am not in the convincing business, I'm in the sorting business. But it's the rejection recovery. Some people never recover from the rejection. And I promise if somebody would have known by them giving somebody a hard time would smash their dreams, they would have never done it. But people don't know what they're saying is affecting the other person, yes or no. How many of you ever had a conversation with somebody and you're like, you know that time you said such and such to me, and and I just want to let you know what that did to me, and they're looking at you like, I don't even remember you saying it. See, here's what you have to remember. Everything starts and stops in your head. And that long-term thinking, I believe, is the most important thing any of us here in this room can have. Now, personal development. This is a personal development course with a compensation plan. You will never out-earn your personal development. How do I know that? How many of you seen people that won the lottery? They call it the curse of the lottery. How can winning $50 million be the worst thing that ever happened to somebody? Because the money was above who they were as a person. And the money went back to its rightful owner. See, you grow and the money grows with you. That's how this works. Nobody has money that outgrows them or will go back to its rightful owner. See, let me tell you how important it is to be reading and listening. My children will tell you, they get in the car with me, I take them to school every day. You know what we listen to? Jim Rohn. How many of you know who Jim Rohn is? Man, he can talk to a 5-year-old, yes or no? Bread for your head, right? You're going to feed your head. What are you putting in your head? Don't be a lazy learner. That's what my kids say. Don't be a lazy learner. Why? Because Jim Rohn says it. And I have them listening to personal development. Let me tell you how important personal development is. How many of us would agree, if you think about it, our thoughts are what then control our actions? So our thoughts control our actions. So what we're putting in our head inevitably is controlling what we're doing. And what we're doing is then creating our habit. And our habit is then creating our character. And then our character is creating our destiny. And everything starts with your thoughts. So what are you listening to? See, the greatest investment is what you're doing here today. It is taking time out to reset, to refuel, to get more information, to get your skill sets going, so that when you walk out of here over the next handful of hours, you're not the same person you were walking in. Because you're leaving here with other people inside of you that poured into you as they poured into me. Last night, Mike Coopas, for those of you that are RC and above, man, I thought that was one of the most powerful trainings that I heard from a leadership perspective. You know what I got from his training? One thing I took away, he said, COVID created bad habits. COVID created bad habits. How has the world changed? People have habits today that they would have never had before COVID, yes or no? People got lazy. Right? People all of a sudden started to look for the shortcuts. People all of a sudden started to look for ways not to do things instead of ways to do things. See, in network marketing, when I first came into ACN, here's what they told me. Talk to everybody in 6 feet. How many of you have ever heard that? Talk to they go, who do you talk to? Anybody within 6 feet of you. And then COVID came, what did they say? Don't get close to anybody, right? So we ran out of people to talk to, right? Stay 6 feet away from everybody. And we went from talking to everybody to talking to nobody. How many of you know what I'm talking about? And we became polarized, yes or no? One Facebook post from somebody, all of a sudden the whole world's upset at you, yes or no? Right? See, now we're getting back to that normalcy. And let me tell you who's going to inherit the future. People that are going to overcome that shyness of making those contacts. Picking up the phone. Here's what my mentor taught me. He said, Patrick, when you think about it, do it. He goes, you know why I'm winning and most people aren't? Because most people are thinking that I'm doing. By the time you do it, I've already done it twice, figured out what I did wrong, and did it right the second time. Before you've done it one time. He said, people that do it fast have success. People that hesitate have no success. How many of you here thought about someone you should have called, right? Maybe put it off, and then all of a sudden you find out somebody else called them. Did that happen to anybody else here? I've had people that were literally 15 days. Patrick, I've known that. I should have 15 days they waited, and all of a sudden that person got recruited by somebody else. And then leaders serve others. Here's what you're going to find. The greatest of all is the greatest server of all. When people want to get in leadership positions, get ready to serve. That's what you do. You serve. You know, I was on with Dr. Randy, Tom Barr. These guys are having a lot of success right now. I literally wake up to them in the morning, right? How many of you get on a huddle in the morning? Man, I'll tell you, man, if you can plug into one, it's one of the greatest ways to start your day off. Why? Because you're starting it off getting your business first. Here's what I see. Don't put your boss's job, don't put his business first, put your business first. Does that make sense? People have that all messed up. They put their boss's dreams first instead of their own dreams first. So get up in the morning, do these huddle call. Okay, great. What do we got planned for the day? Okay, everybody know what we're going to do. Great. I'm doing meetings with them literally at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I see Dr. Range, Tom. They're still serving people. They're serving people with that time. Here's why. Because they understand the principles of success. It's serving other people. Does this help everybody? Yes. Look, these are things that I had to learn doing this business over time. And then when you talk about becoming coachable, man, I think that's one of the hardest things. One thing I'll say about Nellie McCooey, she's extremely coachable. I'll tell you, anytime anything is said, she takes a note, implements it immediately. Completely coachable. I don't want to come here with new ideas. I didn't buy the McDonald's and want to sell tacos here. I don't want to make mistakes that somebody else made. I don't have 10 years to play with here. I don't want to wake up 10 years older saying to myself, what the heck is going on? If you say it the way you're taught, if you do it the way you're taught, it will work 100% of the time. The only way this doesn't work is when you deviate. How many of you deviated before? How many of you treated people differently than the way we teach you to put them into a meeting? How many of you go, oh, they need a one-on-one meeting? Oh, they can't be in a group, Patrick. Oh, no, this is Bob. Bob is the manager of 2 McDonald's. Bob needs to be taught separately. He can't be in a group of other people. You know, we had a gentleman come into our team. His name was Mike Lawson. Mike came in, and he knew Jeremiah Trotter. Anybody know who that is? Jeremiah Trotter, right? Played for the Eagles. He was Defensive Player of the Year, took Sports Illustrated. And Mike was like, you need to go meet Jeremiah at his office. And I said, no, I'll meet him in your living room with 10 other people. And he goes, you don't understand. Like I don't, because we used to do them in living rooms. You know that, right? Like, how did we build this business for 19 years is in living rooms? We'd be like, sign up, make a list, call everybody you know and stick them in your living room. And we'd come to your living room. And so I said, look, you need to put them, you're like, my house isn't big, right? He had a million excuses. Oh, I don't want people to come. You don't understand. I said, great, then I don't want to meet him. I don't want to meet him. He's like, do you know what he can do in this business? I said, yeah, probably a lot, but I don't want to meet him if he's not in your living room with a bunch of other people. Why? Because if I treat them different, they act different. If Oprah goes to buy a McDonald's, can we agree they're not changing the name of the burger for her? They're going to say, hey, great to have you part of the franchise community. We're fired up to have you here, but you're going to sell it the way everybody else does. Why? Because it works. So long story short, he called him up. Guy came to the presentation. I walked in the room. I don't really follow sports, but I didn't need to figure out which guy was Jeremiah Trotter. And we used to have snacks, right? So we'd have like, chips or whatever, like a little snack. His hand went in the chip bowl and there wasn't a chip left when it came out. Like he literally put it in and there wasn't any more chips left. And he's sitting there and he's eating the chips and I'm doing the presentation. And you know what he said to me at the end of the presentation? I got a big living room. I can put a lot of people in my living room, right? Now, what if I would have met him at the office? And I would have said to him, hey, this is a great opportunity. Why don't you fill your living room and let all of us come to your living room and show everybody you know this opportunity? What do you think he would have said? No, let's do it in my office. I've got one guy you can meet, and I have another guy. You see what I'm saying? But because I was sold out to the system, and I wasn't going to deviate no matter who it was, we were able to help him have success because we were coachable to the system. Does that make sense? Now that took years for me to get to this point. All we're trying to do is save you from spending years trying to do what we already know what works. If you put them in a group, they'll duplicate a group. If you put them one-on-one, they'll duplicate one-on-one. Yes or no? Here's the second thing. You need a reason why. See, but you don't really need a reason why for senior vice president. You need a lot of reasons why. You can't just have one reason why. You got to stack reasons on top of reasons on top of reasons. And here's what I want to do. You get a fresh piece of paper out. And I want you to take the next minute or so, and I want you just to start writing reasons why you want to be a senior vice president of Platinum. Me, it was easy. Get out of debt. I like nice stuff. How do you know you like nice stuff? You appreciate people that have it. Man, I like that car. I like that house. What are the other reasons? Well, man, I want to give so much money to my church. I want my pastor to go to his knees. What's your reason why? All of you have a different reason. You need to stack them up. Ours was our parents. We retired our parents. Built them a house. Brand new house. Never had a new house in their entire life. Always had someone else's house. New to them. Stack those reasons up. Multiple. You have children? Man, you are their heroes. Your children look to you like heroes. I don't want my kids looking at some sports figure or some entertainer. I don't want that to be their hero. I want their dad and mom to be their hero. How many of you are getting some good stuff right now? How many of you are writing some real powerful things? Why do you want it? You got to stack those reasons up. Now, here's what I'm going to do. How many of you got more than 5? Yeah, that's it. Good. Get to 5, get 10, get 20 reasons why. Never want to drive a bad car. I want to drive a nice car. I want kids to come up to my car and say, that's an unbelievable car. Here's what I found when you get nice cars. When you go to the stoplight, you know who always looks at your car? Kids. I know that stoplight. I got kids there. Right? They're like, you know who never looks? Dad. Never looks. You know why? Because the kids think they can get it. The kids think they can get it. They still believe that's possible. Ask any kid what car they want when they get older. I promise you, it won't be a Caravan. I promise you, they aren't going to talk to you about, hey, how's that Kia, Dad? How's the gas mileage on something like that? They're going to say Lamborghini, Ferrari, monster truck, yes or no? They're going to name cars that they can't even spell. Now here's what I want you to do. Take the next 30, 45 seconds. Share with your neighbor a couple of those reasons why. Go ahead, share with your neighbor. Tell your neighbor what a couple of those reasons why you want to be an SVP in this opportunity. many of you are hearing some amazing reasons why they want to do something? How many of you are inspired by the person next to you telling you why they want to do this business? See, that's where you want to live. Right here, right now, the way you feel, talking about, sharing why, telling another person, giving them the reasons why, that's where you want to live. You live in that world of possibility. See, do you realize that if you create the possibility and you share it with somebody else, it starts to become? It starts to become. If you write it down and you share it with other people, it starts to become. Because you wrote it down and shared it. Let me tell you how powerful writing things down. How many of you, if you drove down the road and there was a big truck in front of the mile per hour sign and you didn't see that sign and you were going faster than the speed limit and you get pulled over by the police and you say, well, I didn't see the sign. There was something blocking the sign. Did they give you no ticket or did they give you a ticket? They give you a ticket. Why did they give you a ticket? Because it was what? Written down. When you write it down, it becomes. Now, here's what I love about our opportunity. You're going to meet some of the greatest people over the next day or so. Missy Potter, big reason why. Got to spend some time with her. Big reason why for doing what we're doing here today. You're going to meet some amazing people. Janelle Sandin, big reason why. Doing some amazing stuff in the ministry. Wants to help as many people as he can. Big reason why. And how many of you notice that some of the reasons for people doing this weren't necessarily, oh, I just want to drive a new car. How many of you know that? Man, I want to pay my kids college. I want to be able to give them that seed money to start their business. I want to help them with that first home. How many of you heard some of those in those reasons why? How many of you heard someone next to you that inspired you with their reason why by show of hands? Put your hand up. If somebody said something next to you, look around. That said something that affected you. Thank you for what they said. Now I've got a short video I want to show you. This is extremely powerful. And then I'm going to bring a gentleman up that's going to talk a little bit about Impact Health. And I want to start by showing you this quick video, and then I'm going to bring this individual up. You're going to be blown away here in a minute.
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out like Mike Tyson and ever got back up.
And 3 and 4.
It was almost a 10 count. He was stuck with.
And there it is.
Goes to his corner, the whole world is like, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's gonna just hammer it. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. Inside. You still looking outside for the stuff that's already inside. You still looking for someone to save you when you already your superhero. You looking for some information from somebody when you already got what you need in your head. It's just time for you to get up and be the best version of you.
Powerful. How many of us here can get fired up after watching that? Man, I'll tell you, that's all about the reason why. That's how important this is. But look, we got to believe in what we do. We got to believe in the opportunity. You're going to get a chance to hear one of the co-founders today, and this is just going to raise your belief. You're going to meet some executives in this room that have been doing this for years. It's going to raise your belief in what we do. But we've got a product called Impact Health, and we've a gentleman in the room that I want you to get a chance to meet. Emilio is just an incredible individual. He has a lot of experience in the health sharing community, meaning an expert. He was an executive at a major health sharing company, saw what we were doing with the impact opportunity, jumped into this opportunity as an IBO because he wasn't going to allow for this to grow without him being a part of it. And I want you to get a chance to hear him. He has some incredible information to share. If we could, let's give a round of applause to he's an executive team leader. He's on his way to RC. Everybody put your hands together for Mr. Emilio.
Today, ready to change the trajectory of their life and someone else who they cares about life. I don't know about you, but I think I can go knock out Mike Tyson right now. I mean, because he's like, what, 60 and I'm 45? I think, no, I'm just kidding. You know, you've got to be a 1% crazy to show up on a Saturday morning in a room like this to get your mind right, get your actions right, to get your relationship right, to get your beliefs right, to do what only the 1% crazies can do. Woo! So give yourself a big round of applause for investing the time and the opportunity. I know that you probably hear someone say, change the trajectory of my life or someone else's life with a product or service. And you think, boy, that guy is a terrific salesman. He probably says that about shakes and protein and makeup and other things. No, I absolutely don't. I was blessed a handful of years ago to be given an opportunity to walk in and be an executive in the healthcare sharing space. And I had worked in healthcare, I worked in legislation and public policy, and I was familiar because I heard the commercials on the radio. And I thought I knew what it was until I really knew what it was. And when I found out why it's different, and I'll say better than insurance, why it's different, and I'll say better than the healthcare industrial complex and what they want you to believe and what they want you to do and how they want you to be sick. I knew that if this way of doing things could catch on, where these people started sharing and connecting with these people, who started connecting and sharing with these people, who started connecting and sharing with these providers, these facilities, these doctors, these nurses, that we literally, one household at a time, could make an impact on changing the trajectory of people's lives. See, I was in a situation where I was about to have my first baby, and it was a pandemic. It was 2020. It was, you gotta wear a mask, you gotta have the vaccine, your kid has to have a whole litany of things the minute they're born, and you're like, they've been in the mom's womb for 9 months. Why do they need all these shots and things, you know? And there's a whole bunch of information, misinformation, and disinformation. And honestly, at that time, let's remember where we were. We didn't know what to believe and who to believe. And we were shaken to the very core of what we could trust. But I know that I was paying a pretty high premium to a company that was making decisions for me, that some guy in a nondescript cubicle in some building that looked like every other building in some faraway major city who has this much medical experience was making decisions on who I could see, what I was going to pay them, and how I had to do it. And so, yeah, I got over the having to wear a mask and being told I might not be able to be in the delivery room with my wife. I got over that. I got over the being told we had to use this doctor because they were in network and it was going to cost us this much, and wondering how much and how I was going to pay for this. After 10 years of a walk in our life of struggling with infertility, to be blessed to have a child and not be able to enjoy that seminal moment of an answered prayer, because I've got to advocate for myself, understand what a UB HICFA form is, what do I have to pay here, what's going to be the deductible, can I go here, can I go there, what do I got to take, what do I got to ingest? It was clear to me that the system is broken. And it's not the fault of the doctors and the nurses, because they're just playing by the rules, they're doing their job. And it wasn't my fault, although it kind of was, because I knew better. I knew there was an alternative. But I had to trust that it worked, that it could work for others, and that the timing was absolutely right. So in just a few minutes, I want to share with you why impact, why healthcare sharing, and why now. And I want each and every one of you to be able to leave not needing to be a healthcare expert, but following the system and the process. How do we invite people into the living room of understanding their healthcare needs so that we can serve them up the opportunity that will change the trajectory of their lives? Healthcare sharing is enjoyed by about 3 million Americans at its high point. Now in these days, around 2 million Americans that transact a little under $4 billion a year in medical bills. It started in the most humblest of ways. Someone had a large medical bill and couldn't pay it. And they went to their church and they said, hey, I can't afford this medical bill. I need a little help. And that church got creative and put out a little newsletter, a little letter saying, the Jane family has a medical bill. The Williams family has a medical bill. The Johnson family has a medical need. And they shared it with other churches, and other churches started adding those medical needs, and they would send a check for $20 or $30 or $40. And the family started receiving checks in cash from these local churches in their congregation, in their community, eventually across the state, eventually across the country, eventually across the world. And that is how healthcare sharing started a little over 45 years ago in this country. And it became formalized as the ACA came into existence, as there was an exemption from the individual mandate tax penalty if you were a member of a healthcare sharing community. And people raised their hands and said, I don't want to pay for premiums that are twice as much and that I can't afford. I don't want to have to be told what doctor I go to, how long I have to wait, and that I need a recommendation. I want to find medical practitioners that align with my values, and I want to give my money to organizations that are not going to spend their money on frivolous things. I don't need to buy a fifth vacation home in Vail for the CEO of United Healthcare, right? So healthcare sharing became formalized, impacted several millions of people, several $1 billion in transactions. So what's the one thing that you need to know when you're presenting the opportunity? Healthcare sharing works. The second thing is impact works better. Why is that? Well, number one, I came from a world of healthcare sharing that had a network. I came from a world of healthcare sharing that was an exclusive community. At one point for membership, you had to send in a letter from your pastor saying that you were a member, tithe-paying a good member of your church. And there's nothing wrong with that, friends. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I just want to tell you, as a Christian, personally, I have a lot of heartburn that I can't meet the needs of people, their immediate physical needs and their long-term spiritual needs, because they aren't already in my club. You hear what I'm saying? And so here's what Impact said. Just like shopping at Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A, you don't have to be a Christian to buy a frame for your poster or to order a chicken sandwich. But what you know is that there are values that drive those businesses, right? And the values are the values of service. And so Impact says, whosoever wants to be a part of this health sharing community can come in and be a part of it. And here's what we're going to do. We're not going to have a network. We're going to empower each and every one of you to choose who and where you want to go. Here's what we're also not going to do. We're not going to hide what we spend so that you're not buying a 5th Lear jet and a 4th vacation home. Those are all good things, right? We're not going to allow some bureaucrat in a faraway capital or some cubicle jockey in a nondescript building tell you what you're going to do with your healthcare dollars. And so we're going to create a tech platform like what Uber did for transportation. We're going to empower the individual with a tech platform that's transparent. Friends, when you log in to your member portal, you see where every one of your dollars goes. What went for admin, what went for program, what went for medical sharing, and the families who you shared with. You want to reach out with them and encourage them and pray for them and talk to them? You can. You can, because it's your dollars that are being utilized. It's Patrick and Alejandra and Melissa and Jeff that are sharing in my son's medical needs. That's powerful. That's the power of community. And you click on one other button and you do something that nobody else in healthcare, including healthcare sharing, does. You can see the dollars of the entire community. I know how many bills are outstanding. I know what families have a big bill coming up. I know exactly what dollar has gone where. If Phil Chrysler, the CEO and founder of Impact, decides he wants to go on a great vacation, I know how he paid for it. No, I'm just kidding around. Phil and Angela are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, but they're servants at heart. And that kind of transparency, here's what it does. There isn't motivation for increasing the bottom line, because you know who's the bottom line? You, the member. And the time is right now. Healthcare sharing works. When you share with someone, you tell them healthcare sharing works, Impact works better, and now's the right time. How many have heard that we might have a little slowdown, a little hiccup in this economy? Raise your hands. How many of you have been dealing with the price of all the goods that you've been buying going up? Yeah. Inflation hits you right here, right now, particularly on consumer goods. Medical inflation has a 1-year lag. Why is that? Because in the open enrollment period is for the next year. So guess what we're about to find out? I don't know about you guys, but my car insurance just went up. I live in Florida. My homeowner's insurance went up 40%. And friends, if you're in a commercial insurance plan, guess what's about to happen in open enrollment? You're about to get some sticker shock, because you're going to say the 11 to 14% of medical inflation is going to hit you and hit you hard. Oh, and by the way, the subsidies for people that are over 400% of federal poverty level, that's $108,000 for a family of 4, they're going away. So what does that mean? You may say, gosh, that is terrible. Some of you that aren't Impact members yet that are in this room are thinking, well, maybe I need to run that pricing calculator on my ACN homepage because, man, this is difficult. Friends, this is an opportunity because you are positioned, equipped, and supported to change the trajectory of someone's life by introducing them to Impact. I was going to pay for a silver plan, $10,000 individual deductible for my family of 5, $1,800 plus a month. Another healthcare sharing organization, $965 a month. Impact Health Share, of which I'm proudly a member, $605, the same family of 5. $2,500 personal responsibility. And let me tell you this, a brand, it's for the whole household, not an individual deductible. That's for the entire household. They're not telling me where to go. My direct primary care physician, I can go see him. My naturopath, I can go see him. Functional doc, I can go see him. It's fantastic, it's free, and why? Because you are now empowered with your healthcare decisions. And let me leave you with this. How many people in here, every month, they get their vitamins and supplements? Anybody in here, keep your hands raised. Anybody in here go to a chiropractor? Raise your hand. Anybody in here do IV drip? Do massage? Okay. Each and every month, up to $100 of the spending that you're already doing, a health and wholeness credit at Impact. No other healthcare company in the country is doing this. Comes right off of your personal responsibility amount, essentially lowering your deductible. My $2,500 deductible is going to be $1,300. Why? Because I'm already getting the IV drip at the drip bar. I'm already buying my supplements at Vitamin Shop. I'm already getting a massage once a month at Hand and Stone. I got a direct primary care membership. Nobody else is doing that. So they've never raised their prices in 5 years.
Yes.
About to be sticker shock. Healthcare sharing work, Impact works better, and you are now positioned at the forefront. Do you know what it means to put someone savings of $20,000 plus a year just on their healthcare? For the business owners, do you know what it means? Yesterday, Jeff, Alejandra, and I went to the drip bar in Flower Mound. We were chatting with a nurse. You know what that nurse told us? I'd like to know about Impact, because I can't afford my premium any longer. And I'm gonna have to leave this job that I love because they don't fully subsidize her health care. We ran, Jeff Street, who knows Jeff Street? Yeah, I love this guy. This is what a leader does, this is what you should model. Here I am telling her I'm gonna send you a link. Jeff didn't waste time, he pulled his phone out, he already had the pricing guy. He said, what's your birthday? Here you go. She said, I can afford that. I don't have to leave this job. So what were we doing for her? We were saving her money, and we were allowing her to make the choice of working in a job she already loves. What were we doing for that business owner? You know how hard it is to find a good employee, train a good employee, keep a good employee? This woman is a nurse. She was wonderful. She treated us so well. It would have been a huge loss for them. So what did we do? We changed the financial trajectory of the drip bar yesterday. We changed the trajectory of her life yesterday. And there will be people who are Impact members now that because they want to save a little bit of money, they're going to come to the drip bar, they're going to get what they need, and they're going to be able to share in a community to make sure those people get what they need as well. Friends, I'm sold out on the secret weapon that is Impact. You know why? That secret weapon, it isn't the health and wholeness credit. That secret weapon isn't the fact that it's that much cheaper, that it doesn't have a network, that it's totally transparent. Those are all nice things. Do you know what the secret weapon of Impact Health Share is? You. Because nobody else has the customer acquisition and gathering, the white glove touch of a friend or someone experience like ACN. No other healthcare sharing organization, no other healthcare platform has the secret weapon of ACN. And so I am imploring you, if you aren't already a member, before you leave today, go run the pricing calculator on yourself on your own ACN homepage. If you are here and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to be serious about being an ACN IBO, now is the time. Why? People need you. Don't be so selfish to listen to the excuses in your head to not take action. You know why I say it's selfish? Because the Lord has appointed someone in your footsteps, in your life, that you're going to interact with, and you have a choice. You can be lazy and stay home and be selfish and do nothing, or where you can empower them and tell them how you can save them money, how you can change the trajectory of their life, and you can make it so that not only they win, but you win. When we all win, boy, that is some kind of situation. Nobody else in the market today is positioning you like that, except for ACN, Impact, and the other amazing services that ACN offers. I'm proud to be an IBO. I am so thrilled to be here. I'm coachable. I know you guys are. It's easy. Impact works. It's better, and it's got the secret weapon. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning.
Give a round of applause, everybody. Great job, great job, great job. And I just wanted to get a taste and an opportunity to meet him. And now we're going to bring a couple up here that really, if you've been around ACN, anytime they really need no introduction. This couple came to ACN with experience in the direct sales industry. They have a Latin background, so Espanol is their first language, English is their second language. I met them on a Zoom call, and the only thing they wanted to know is who is going to run the company. They got a chance to meet the owners of ACN, they planted their flag, and I want you to hear this part. Within 6 months, they went from getting started to regional vice president. 6 months. Today, they're regional vice president gold. They have an incredible team of people that love them. Everybody who gets a chance to spend time with them knows just how special these two individuals are. And if we could, let's give them a rock star welcome to regional vice president gold, Caesar and Sonia Buffoni, everybody.